Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with another Sunday night live stream show. That's right, it's Sunday night, y'all, and it's time for the live stream show. Hopefully, everybody's ready for a great show. Got a good one lined up for y'all with lots of fun stuff to talk about, some good photos to show you, and of course, always giving away some free fishing trips. So, hopefully, everybody's ready for a great show and a good time because we got a good one lined up for y'all. So don't forget to comment where you're watching from and share this video on your timeline in your favorite fishing group. That way everybody can help us spread the word. D Beers, appreciate those stars getting us kicked off on Facebook. Thank you very much, D. If you're watching on Instagram or YouTube or another Facebook channel, the stars are a way. Thank you, Paul Cartel. The stars are a way that you can show your support and share your support with us through the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. Thanks, Larry White. Appreciate you, man. So great opportunity there and super appreciative of all those of you who send stars. Richard Blasak, Adam Franklin with 500 stars. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Don't forget, if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you comment one time. Comment where you're watching from, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Always super helpful to know where our viewers are coming from. So tell us where you're from. And also, that enters you for a chance to win free fishing trips. If you're watching on YouTube or Instagram, you can watch along, no problem. But if you want a chance to win free trips, you have to go over to Facebook, navigate to the Hubbard's Marina Facebook channel, and then comment one time in order to be eligible to win. Then later on in the show, when we pick a lucky winner, you do have to text us at that phone number real quickly down there in the corner to claim your free trip. Terry Feather, appreciate your stars. Justin Price, appreciate you as well. Thank you very much, guys. So we're going to get started here tonight and talk to you a little bit about what we're catching, what we're seeing out there on the water. Dennis Mills, appreciate those 500 stars. You guys rock. So let's get it started off here and show you guys what we're seeing out there on the water. We've definitely been doing really well inshore, nearshore, and offshore. So we'll get right into it with the inshore catches, what we've been seeing inshore lately. We've definitely been seeing some of these black drum in the back bay waters. Been seeing a lot of black drum recently up in the bay, around the bayous, around those oyster beds. Shallower water, brackish water's a good place to look for them. Connor Weir, appreciate those stars. Thank you very much. And Jack Crevel are back. Jack Crevel are back in force. We're seeing a lot of Jack Crevel around our local grass flats, bridges, canals, and they should be making their way into Johns Pass soon, which is exciting. This time of year, they get all schooled up and feeding heavily, and they're a lot of fun to target. As they go moving by a flat or a dock line or canal, virtually anything you throw at them, those Jack Crevel will go nuts. And then also mackerel. We've been seeing a lot of mackerel showing back up there at the mouth of the passes, around our local beach fishing piers, around the bridges of Tampa Bay, Skyway Fishing Pier. Been seeing a lot of those mackerel. D Beers, appreciate those 200 stars. Thank you. Redfish, the redfish bite has been hot. Probably the best redfish bite a lot of our inshore guides have seen in August in a very long time, from what I'm being told. The guys over at Salt Strong Fishing Club have been stroking these redfish using those soft plastic paddle tails, and then the surface. The Moonwalker has definitely been a popular surface plug. Remember, low light conditions are definitely the best option for those surface plugs. Josh, can you check YouTube? Some people are saying they're not live on YouTube. Jim Michael, appreciate those stars. Thank you very much. So we're going to go to, can you go, I guess we got to go full screen for you, huh?
No, we're good.
Oh, you can check it? So we've been seeing a lot of the redfish all over on bait from the shrimp. The shrimp has been a good live bait. Also the white bait, the cut mullet. The cut mullet. This is Steve Klott and his buddies using cut mullet up north of Dunedin area, doing well on the redfish. We've been seeing some snook too. The snook bite's been pretty fired up. A lot of these juvenile snook are really feeding well around the area. The bigger, more breeder-sized fish are more lethargic this time of year. Definitely slows them down. They're less apt to feed and more lethargic because the water's hot. So one cool thing that I was kind of digging into recently was on Salt Strong. So I'm a member of the Salt Strong Fishing Club just because they have some really cool stuff in there. And originally they kind of put me as a member because we were doing a lot of classes with them or courses. So we filmed a red snapper mastery course, a grouper mastery course, a mangrove snapper mastery course, and something else, I think. And one of the cool things that came out of that was they made me a member of their Salt Strong Fishing Club. So I never really had spent time investigating the Salt Strong Fishing Club, but this past week I had some time on my hands one night and started clicking around and seeing what they had to offer members. And man, they have some incredible tools and different features of that club. And one of the coolest things I found was the different cheat sheets or hot sheets for species and times of year. Josh, can you pull up the last email blast, the most recent one? And so long story short, I got into the summertime hot sheets, and one of the coolest things they were breaking down was dissolved oxygen content. So again, I always talk about it, thinking like a fish. Salt Strong was putting the science behind it, with dissolved oxygen content being a big driver for how active or how actively feeding inshore species are. So really cool information there about how you got to take into account deeper water, shaded water, water temperature, incoming tide. So like, for example, an outgoing tide is going to pull water from the back bay that is shallower and that is warmer and that has been heated up during the period of time that water was in the back bay, whereas an incoming tide is going to pull a lot of that deeper Gulf of Mexico water that's been cooler, been moving around more, and pulling it into the bay. It's going to have more dissolved oxygen content because cooler water holds more dissolved oxygen. Same reason why we have more barotrauma issues in hotter waters, because the hotter the water, the less oxygen it holds, and the greater the chance for barotrauma injuries to fish that you're retrieving up from the bottom. But inshore, when you have a hard outbound tide and a lot of that shallow brackish water or shallow hot water is coming out into the bay and around the passes, the likelihood of actively feeding fish is lower because there's less dissolved oxygen. Whereas an incoming tide is going to bring more cooler waters and going to kind of get those fish a little bit more frisky. Also, shaded areas, dock lines, fishing piers, structures, mangrove shorelines, trees overhanging the shoreline is going to give that water temperature a chance to chill out a little bit and hold more dissolved oxygen. Deeper areas, those deeper potholes and those cuts and those drop-offs adjacent to the flats hold more dissolved oxygen. Those fish can get lower where it's cooler and get more oxygen and feed more heavily. So really interesting piece of information to kind of think about as you're approaching inshore fishing. You want to find those deep pockets, areas of moving water, focus on the incoming tide, shaded areas, and focus, if you can, early morning, twilight, prior to sundown and around sundown or just after is a great time to target those areas and hopefully get a little bit cooler water with more dissolved oxygen content. So very interesting tips that Salt Strong was laying out for us. So definitely some cool stuff there. Maybe I didn't put the file in here. I made some cool graphics. I don't know where they went to, but
You're talking about like the little pitch and stuff?
Yeah, it was.
It was the week before.
Well, it was the week before. Those were terrible. I made it cooler because I did them on my iPad with a satellite photo. And that was the night I dug all into Facebook or all into Salt Strong. But I got super distracted. I went there to try to get the Smart Fishing Tides graph to inlay into the graphic I was making, and ended up going down a rabbit trail and watching all these spot dissections about Louisiana and Texas, and started planning a trip to Texas and Louisiana in my head to go red fishing. So it was definitely a rabbit trail. Maybe I didn't save it. Who knows? But we'll have it for next week. So, now that we've gone off on a tangent, let's bring us back, Josh. Pull up those nearshore picks and offshore picks, and let's talk about what we've been catching nearshore and offshore on our trips. So these are some amberjack from a recent 39-hour fishing trip. That's Estelle, the little lady hiding behind that big amberjack, and Todd Boggs there, front right. And Damien back there in the back left laughing at Estelle trying to hold up her big amberjack. This is one of the Skyway Fishing Club members, and more of the Skyway Fishing Club. They privately chartered the Flying Hub 2, went out there and crushed the grouper and triggerfish and mangrove snapper and had a great all-around day. Definitely some big fish aboard the Flying Hub 2 recently. We have great weather and killer fishing going on right now. So good opportunity to get out there, catch some big grouper, porgies, triggerfish, a snapper, and have a great time doing it. So definitely did very well on the Skyway Fishing Club Flying Hub 2 12-hour extreme trip. We've got those public 12-hour extreme trips too. This Wednesday, last time I looked, only had 10 people booked, so that's 6 open spots left if you want a chance to get out there and catch some of these great eating fish. We've also been seeing some tuna out there on the long-range trips. Been doing pretty well on those long-range trips on a couple pelagics. This is a fresh shot of that big amberjack Todd Boggs was showing off on the dock. There's it on the boat. Some big red grouper on our 39-hour trips. We've been seeing the tuna. So this tuna was from our recent 39-hour trip. This gentleman actually caught 2 tuna while vertical jigging at night using a vertical jig with stripes of glow in it. So it was a red jig. It had stripes along perpendicular to the vertical jig that glowed in the dark? Glowed in the dark, right?
I think it's just glow in the dark.
But it's past tense.
But if it's actively glowing.
We're not English majors, but it glowed. Whatever. It glows, the lure, and it worked. Moving on. Nice rock hind here, or strawberry grouper is kind of the common name. So Graysby, a red hind, rock hind, they're all called strawberry groupers, but they're different species. These are about as big as a strawberry grouper is going to be. And I tried to offer discounts on future trips. You can't buy recreational caught fish. It's illegal. But you can be super friendly and maybe offer a discounted future trip if they were to lose that fish into a cooler of mine. But I didn't. I wanted to, but that's kind of a gray area, and I don't endorse the illegal selling of fish, so I didn't do it, but I really wanted to because that is one of my favorite eating fish right there. Incredibly good eating. Small grouper.
Yeah, but they're still good size. I mean, look at those.
Yeah. I mean, everybody at home might be thinking, well, that's not very big fish. They don't get bigger than that. That's about as big as they get. Monsters for sure. When I got on the boat and saw the pile of fish, that's what caught my eye. That little 12, 14, 16-inch fish.
Unless he has little hands. I mean.
Like the Burger King commercial.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice sized fish.
Connor Weir, appreciate those stars.
And they are saying it's glowed.
Glowed. I thought it was glowed in the dark. That makes sense. Melissa Riggins Chamberlain, appreciate those 500 stars. Thank you very much. So let's get back into it. Some more red groupers, some massive mangroves on the 39-hour trip lately. We've been seeing a killer mangrove bite, some big red groupers. We've been seeing a lot of the mangroves. Now, this recent 39-hour trip, we're going to just let you watch the video here real quick so you hear the recap from Will. Josh, can you pull up today's live video to show the guests? So that way you guys can hear it straight from Will. One cool thing while Josh is pulling it up, we got some new technology, these fancy little wireless transceiver dealy things. That's the technical term, by the way.
Yeah, it's super technical.
Super technical. And basically what they allow us to do is I am able to put a lav mic on Will and myself. So previously I had a mic for my phone, but then it was only one mic and I'd wear it and then you still couldn't hear the other person. Then I didn't use a mic and you could hardly hear the other person. The other day I interviewed my dad behind the fish pile and he gave a bunch of good information, but it was really hard to hear him. So today, at the beginning of this past week, I ordered this specialty new wireless transceiver deal. That's it. Very first one, Josh. And it's really cool. So now you're going to hear it firsthand how much better the audio is. You'll be able to hear Will a lot better than you normally do. So Josh is going to show you guys the video now. We'll be right back. Josh, roll that beautiful fish footage. They've got a nice pile of fish, some pelagics, some African pompano, some big mangroves, big vermilion, couple yellowtail, looks like a big pile of red grouper, couple scamps. Looks like you guys did well, huh, Wildo?
Yeah, we did well. First couple spots were picky at night, and then we smoked the fish for several hours.
Really?
Smoked the snappers for most of the night, and picked at the groupers, but most of these red groupers were in the daytime. We switched up strategies and hit some red groupers in the daytime.
Nice, man. So you were catching most of the red groupers during the day. The snapper bite at night was going well, though?
Yeah, and the snappers this time of year, it's just the snapper time. We're catching them on every spot right now.
Oh, nice.
And the red groupers are mixed in there, and we have a lot more red groupers than you can see in here. We probably got 30 or 40 red groupers in there.
What was the hot bait for the red grouper?
Let me think about this. I'm going to just say threadfin on the red grouper.
Threadfin on the red grouper, the snapper, mostly cut threadfin?
Yeah, mostly threads on the snapper. We only had a few guys with live bait, and I don't know that they produced a whole lot on the live bait this trip.
I gotcha. So a lot of dead bait action?
Dead bait action.
We were having the problem with the red tide, so we didn't have a ton of live bait available. And how about these tuna? How'd you get the tuna?
There's only one on top, but we had 3 tunas, and two of the tunas and this pompano were caught on jigs.
Vertical jigs.
Yep.
You know what kind of jigs or
the tuna
size?
was one of those glow striped ones.
So the glow vertical jigs at night?
Night glow striped one with maybe red and glow stripes.
Nice. And then the African pompanos, those were during the day when we were fishing deeper for the jacks, I assume?
Yeah, we hit a jack wreck and the jacks weren't there, but there were a school of pompanos on that thing.
Nice. How about the scamp? I see a couple scamp, and were they verticals or squid or?
I think it's
Ooh, that was not a person.
no people. I want to say we did get one of those on the jig.
Yeah, they like those vertical jigs.
And I did see Libby caught a nice mangrove on a jig at night as well.
Cool.
She was trying to get a tuna after the guy next to her caught 2 tunas. She got the jig out and caught a mangrove.
Nice. And then the pelagics, as far as like the kingfish goes, were you getting them on the troll, or is the troll pretty slow?
No, the troll was pretty slow. We didn't have our normal trolling guys this trip.
Yeah.
And the kingfish we would stop and hook one immediately right when we stopped.
Oh, okay.
We did that a couple times.
Gotcha.
And,
all right. So overall, good trip. Any tips or anything you noticed for?
I would say this time of year, guys, and I mean it could change at any time with the lack of the gag bite. You can fish light tackle out there right now.
Light tackle. September
catch more
21st is your next overnighter. You get a little bit of a break. Well, I guess not. You're going to dry dock.
Yep, I'll be working.
All right, Will, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, appreciate those stars, Anne-Marie. Thank you very much. Nice pile of fish here from this 39-hour fishing trip. Don't forget as well, guys, we got our live stream show coming up tonight. All righty then, and we're back. So sorry about that. Still figuring out our new toys, but it gets better every week. And it's not a real show unless there was a couple mistakes, you know. We keep you on your toes. And
I haven't been here.
definitely really, really cool video. What's up, Josh?
I haven't been here in a while.
He's rusty.
So I'm a little rusty, you know.
He's rusty. So we want to start it off with some free trips. It's that time. So let's go ahead and give away one of these free fishing trips, Josh. So as we talked about last week, we're kind of switching up the order and making you guys kind of stay on your toes by switching up the order of what we're giving away. So you never know what trip we're going to give away at what time. So you got to stay tuned in, because the whole point is to make sure that you're watching live. So you got to claim your free trip in 5 minutes or less. And really, we're going to think about maybe even changing that to like 2 minutes or less, because as soon as your name is called, you should be able to text us very quickly to claim your free trip, to prove you're watching the show live and that you didn't just comment once and pop away and then come back if your friend texts you that you won. So that's not what this is about. This is about sharing fishing trip information and fishing tips and tricks and hanging out with our fishing friends. So definitely want to make sure you're watching the show live in order to be eligible to win. Michelle Lorenzo, appreciate those stars. So with that, we're going to give away a 39-hour fishing trip for one guest. That's right, the 39-hour is getting given away first tonight. So
Ready with the sound effects.
yeah, sorry. Stephen Batchelor, appreciate you watching from Hampton, Georgia. Stephen Batchelor, congratulations on your 39-hour trip for one guest. We still got a 10-hour all day to give away and a 5-hour half day too. So plenty more free fishing trips to give away tonight during the show. And only the real fishing friends will hang around now. Gotcha. So with that, let's get into some of these announcements and talk to you guys a little bit about what we've been seeing out there and what's coming up. One big announcement is our online store. Holy moly. If you go to Hubbard's Marina anytime soon, thank the ladies behind the counter, Amanda and our team in the office, from the dockmasters to the ladies who answer the phone. They have killed themselves, broke their backs, trying to get this online store up and running and get all our products on here. So one cool thing, Josh, I'm going to take over the mouse here real quick. So I'm going to just type in here $1 to $100 billion, just so you guys can see how many products were already on apparel.
Yeah.
Son of a sailor. Wasn't a good explanation. So 0 to $1 billion. Let's show you guys how many products. 501 products are now listed on that online store. That's right, 501 products. That's crazy. Crazy how many products we have on here. We've got everything from souvenirs to apparel to tackle. When you click on tackle, we've got terminal tackle, rods, reels, tools, lures. When you click on lures, we've got soft baits, hard baits, naked ball jigs, trolling, vertical jigs, sabiki rigs. We've got it all. Click on trolling. We've got plugs. We've got skirts. So it's really, really cool how many more cool things there are on our website. So definitely check out the online store if you have not already. We are actually going to be working towards filling it up and making sure we have all our products that we can on the online store. We've got to move our new Hubbard's Marina sweatshirts. We got custom Hubbard's Marina jackets, hoodies, and fleeces from our friends over at Salinity that just came in. So we're going to get those listed on the online store too. And once we have everything we can on the online store, we're actually going to start hyperlinking it over to our website. So for example, if you have a buddy that's coming down to do a 39-hour trip with you, instead of just on the website saying, hey, we recommend this size hook and this size lead and this size mainline, you will be able to click a button and all the products that we recommend for a trip would fall into your online store cart. So it'll make it really easy and cool if you're not from Florida, if you're from out of state, you're an out of state angler and you want to get the tackle for the trip ordered to your house so you can start tying rigs and preparing tackle ahead of time. You don't have to go to your local Bass Pro Shop wondering what to buy. You can buy it directly from us who are already recommending what to buy. You can just have it right to your online store, right to your house, make it really, really easy for you. So super excited about that. Josh has a big project in front of him, massaging all these products to help them to show up better online, and then also to start hyperlinking them to the website too. So really, really cool opportunity for us to make it even easier for you to come fishing and more convenient. That's what it's all about, right, Josh?
Absolutely. Trying to get us in this digital age, you know?
It's 2021. We should have had this. We should have been had this.
Should have had it.
Should have been had this.
Hey, but thanks to the ladies, you know, they've been working their butts off. So
literally, we went from a system. Our retail system previous was based in like Microsoft DOS with absolutely zero inventory kind of breakdown or controls. Now we've gone from 0 to 1,000 real quick and had to completely do a in-depth hard count, breaking apart SKUs, adding new SKUs, building new products. It's been a monumental task. So really, really cool stuff, and we're going to continue to work on it. Also wanted to talk about our 12-hour night snapper trips. We've been doing really well on those 12-hour night snapper trips. Captain Garrett ran the last one, and they caught a bunch of lane snapper, vermilion snapper. They caught some nice porgies. They caught about 35, 40 mangroves, not really the size or the quality mangroves we were after, but an incredible catch of fish with lots of lanes, vermilions, porgies, and a few nice mangrove snapper to kind of round out the trip there. So great overall catch, and we have a lot of those 12-hour night snapper trips because we're coming into dry dock. Tuesday, the Friendly leaves for Tarpon Springs. We're going to pull that boat out of the water. It'll be out of the water there until the 3rd week in October. So during that dry dock period, there's only one 39-hour trip, September 21st. Besides that one 39-hour trip, that boat's running nothing but 5 and 10-hour trips, plus our 12-hour night snapper on Friday night. So a great opportunity to do the 12-hour night snapper on the Florida. There'll be bunks, so on the ride home, you can crash out in a bunk, which is super nice. It'll be a unique time of year. Plus, our 10-hour all-day trips are on the hub. So the hub is going to be running the 10-hour all days. So you got a smaller group of people on a smaller, little bit faster boat. So you're either going to get a little bit more fishing time or go a little bit further with the same amount of fishing time. You don't have the air-conditioned cabin. You don't have the awesome galley cook, Butch. But you do have a bathroom on board. Debatable. It's just a boat restroom. It's not like a party boat restroom. So it's a little smaller, a little less convenient. Not a men and women's head, but it's a boat head. No doubt about that. There is a toilet on board. So no you buckets? Still have... What?
No buckets?
No buckets. No buckets. A legit... Well, it's a boat... toilet. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a boat toilet.
We won't church it up beyond that. But there is no air-conditioned cabin. So if you're going out in the hub for a 10-hour trip, you must stay hydrated. And that starts the day before. It is hot out there, guys, so you got to stay hydrated. And that means starting the day before. If you're going to go out on a 10-hour Tuesday on the hub, that means Monday, even Sunday, you need to start drinking a lot of water. Monday, you need to drink at least a gallon. And then the day of the trip, you should be aiming for half your body weight in fluid ounces. Keep that in mind. And even more than that if you're sweating a lot like me. So this time of year, I aim to drink about 2 gallons of water to stay hydrated. And you should too. So definitely want to make sure, well, I'm a lot bigger than you. So half my body weight in fluid ounces is a lot. It's more than a gallon. We'll leave it at that. Also, new moon phase. We are on the new moon. New moon is tomorrow. That means daytime fishing is hot. The daytime bite is typically better on that new moon phase. Typically the day or two prior to the new moon, 2 to 3 days after. So around midweek this week, we should see a bump in that daytime bite. And then around this weekend, we should see it kind of normalize nighttime fishing wise. Perfect timing for that 12-hour night snapper this coming Friday. We have seen the amberjack bite slow down a little bit, definitely a little slower on amberjack because of, I don't know. I think that recent storm, Ida, passing by might have slowed things down. Frustrating, to say the least, but it is what it is. We're going to find them again, but those amberjack have moved around on us. So this last 39 hours struggled, but they caught tons of mangrove snapper. Most of the anglers limited out, and if they didn't, that means they weren't really targeting them. So an incredible mangrove bite. We saw a lot of red grouper too, so kind of filled in the holes for us. Plus we caught some triggerfish and some big scamp too. So overall, great fishing out there still. Also want to make sure you guys know we're back. We've got some cool new team members. We've taken on a new partner at Hubbard's Marina, Simply Affordable Marketing. They are working with us to bring us professional video from all of our trips. They're going to be mainly doing the 39-hour trips. So we've got a professional TV production film crew coming out with us now, and they're going to help us with our social media advertising and marketing too. So not only have we increased our video game exponentially, but now our social media game is now even more so because we've gotten some new cool software. So basically we'll be posting to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, and Pinterest all together. 7. Am I forgetting one?
Nope.
I think I got them all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them now. So we got Twitter, Hubbard's Marina. We got Snapchat, TikTok. Check us out on TikTok. It's terrible. It'll get better, but it's terrible. My wife makes fun of me a lot. I do. I make all our TikTok videos. It's not me dancing. Don't worry. So check out the social media. Also, we've got, a couple people have asked about it in the comments, wanted to talk about it anyway. It was on my agenda for tonight. Jack and Emma, a lot of people ask about the kids. How are they doing? My son is doing great. He turned 2 August 25th. He is talking so incredibly well. It is bone chilling to say the least. It's hilarious. A lot of people are saying the audio is bad. I see the audio working great on my end, and Josh even tested it, so I don't know what's going on with the audio, but weird.
It's Butch's
Butch needs
hearing aid.
Yeah. Turn
I
your
got
hearing
a
aid
number
up,
for
Butch.
you, Butch. It comes on late at night on TV if you're ever up
Autobell.
2 to 3.
But my son's doing great. He can hear or talk really well now, and he's making a bunch of funny jokes and cracking us up for sure. Emma, my daughter, she was born July 14th, so she's coming up now on her, she's going to be 2 months old. It's crazy. So very, very excited about that.
Grow up so fast.
Yeah. She's holding her head up by herself now. It's pretty great. So my kids are doing great. Want to remind you guys, don't forget to check out the Real Animals radio show every Saturday morning from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. That's live right here on our Facebook page. It's not on any of the other social medias yet, just on Facebook, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. every Saturday morning. So definitely check that out. And you can call into the radio show, 1-800-969-9352, any Saturday morning from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. We'd love to hear from you. You want to talk fishing? call the radio show. It's pretty cool. Also, Tuesday, September 21st at 6 p.m., we've got our Real Animals Fishing Conversation at Furman, Newport Richey, right there at the corner of 19 and State Road 54. We're going to be giving away free barbecue. We've got a guest talking inshore fishing up in that area. And Captain Mike Anderson and myself will be there answering questions too. So going to be a great time. And they're taking entries. They're going to be giving away a 65-inch television, an Engel cooler, and some other grand prize that I can't remember. So you go to all the fishing conversations at Furman NPR at the end of the year. In January, they're going to pick a couple lucky names to give away those grand prizes. So free barbecue, maybe a free TV or a big Engel cooler, and you get to talk fishing. So definitely join us September 21st at 6 p.m. That's all the announcements I have. We're supposed to be getting a call from one of our guests, John Martin. I believe he's going to be calling in any minute now. He's going to be talking to us about deep water offshore fishing. Before he calls in, let's give away another fishing trip. We're going to give away the 5-hour half day for 2 guests. 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Remember, if you're picked as a lucky winner, you got to text us within a minute or two to claim that you're watching live, or claim your free trip and prove you're watching live. Josh, let's find out who won a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. That is $130 value for Miss Estelle Wolfman. She got picked on last week, and look at that. Karma's beautiful. She just won some free fishing trips. Congrats, Estelle. You've got 30 seconds to claim your free trip because I know you're watching live. So, and I know you can text fast because you text me a lot. So, thank you for watching, y'all. Now, let's get into the questions, Josh. Let's see what these people have to ask, and we'll wait for John Martin to call in. Is the limit 5 on mangroves? No. Estelle texts me. Less than 30 seconds on my personal phone. You're supposed to text the phone number at the bottom corner of the screen, Estelle. You messed up. So the first question we have is the limit 5 on mangrove snapper? No. In federal waters, the limit is 10. So you're allowed 10 mangrove snapper per day. And ironically, they don't have to be as big. In state waters, they got to be 12 inches. You're only allowed 5 per day. Offshore, they only got to be 10 inches. You're allowed 10 per day. Ironic. They got to be, they can be smaller offshore, which I guess has to do with discard mortality. But pretty funny on that one. So to answer your question, no, the limit on mangrove snapper is 10 per person per day. So on a 39-hour trip, you're allowed 20 mangrove snapper as a part of your 20 snapper aggregate and your 40 reef-fish aggregate for that trip. Can you all do more videos, talks with the 12-hour extreme and night snapper? Yes, we're working on it. Basically, the biggest challenge that we've had is it's hard to get people to go out there and film. The crew's busy helping our guests, and it's very difficult just to get footage from our longer range trips. It's a 39-hour trip with 20 hours of fishing, and I'm happy when we have two hours of footage, including the stuff that's filmed before and after. So on a 12-hour extreme, 12-hour night, it's very difficult to get footage. Occasionally we have. Now, with this new film production team we have, based on the popularity of their videos and kind of what we can get as far as kind of compensating the company for the costs, because it's not cheap to get a video production professional film crew out on our trips. We're going to do it, but I don't know how often we're going to be able to do it per month, but at least one 39-hour trip or 2 day trips a month is kind of what we signed a contract for. So looking forward to that and hopefully expanding on that even more. So yes, we are going to work on getting some more videos. And one cool thing with them is Josh knows this from personal experience. When people offer to do video with me, they don't realize what they're getting themselves into. Because I maximize my time. That's actually how I got Josh to work with me.
Yeah.
His previous boss, I ran him off because he was like, oh, yeah, come on out. Film some videos. We got this new cool studio. Come check it out. Well, I went there, and in one day, about 8 hours, I filmed, 27 videos?
Yeah, we had to kick you out of the door.
Yeah, they literally
We're
had
like,
to
"All right,
turn the
Dylan,
lights
that's
off.
enough." Like,
They had to turn the lights off.
We'll call
I left
you
for
back.
20 minutes. I left for 20 minutes for lunch. I went to a burrito place down the street, slammed a burrito, came back, and started banging out more videos. Just had a list, a one-page typed out, single space, no margins list of videos I wanted to get done in the day. And I almost got them all complete. And long story short, the invite was never extended again to come film
it
videos.
was not.
So when we take our film crew offshore to go film a fishing trip, there's not a lot to do on the way out and the way back. So that's the time I'm going to maximize our time on the water by filming some of the videos that I've been wanting to get done. I have a whole list of videos that I want to add to our fishing tips and tricks page. What?
You're going?
Yeah, that's the whole point of the film crew is
I
that way
thought
we
they
can
were-
maximize it.
I thought they were going. Sorry.
They were going where? What
I
do you
thought they
mean?
were going on the trip, filming what they wanted to film, and then coming
No,
back.
we're all working together. Yeah.
Oh, man. I got to go on a 39-hour?
No, you're not allowed. You get seasick. Actually, speaking of, the camera guy got seasick 20 minutes into the trip. I was like, oh, that sounds like Josh.
Ah, see? So I should have just went.
What's our next question, Josh? Would a Penn Senator 4-aught be good for trolling? No. You want to have at least a 50 wide 2-speed or 80 wide 2-speed on our long range trips. You can troll on any 5, 39 or 44 hour trip. The 10 hour and 12 hours are typically moving too fast to troll. So 5, 39 and 44 hour trips you can troll. On a 39 or 44 hour, you want a big 50 wide, 80 wide 2-speed reel. On a half day, 5 hour trip, you can get away with like a 9-aught Penn Senator single speed, but a 4-aught is incredibly small. Now, I have seen some people troll with the Saltiga LD50 or Talica 16 or Talica 25, which is a little smaller, and even the Penn Fathom 60 on a 5-hour trip. Not on long range trips, but on a 5-hour trip, you can get away with a little smaller trolling reel. Because if you hook a big kingfish, we'll slow down for you. And those reels I just listed are big enough to retrieve in most mackerel you catch. But an 80 wide or a 50 wide 2-speed is best because you're going to be able to retrieve the fish even quicker. He's going to skip on the water less, and the likelihood of him falling off the hook is much less the quicker you get him in. So keep that in mind. Is the red tide still bad? So that's a funny story. On the backside of July, kind of into early August, it died off and dissipated and pretty much disappeared, and we had a good window of like, oh man, this is good. We're back. We started getting our live bait delivered again. We were selling live baits on our trips. Everything was hunky-dory. Ida comes by, stirs things up again, brings us a lot of rain, and then all of a sudden red tide is back. So it got really bad there Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday. Wait, what day is today? Sunday. Yeah, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it was really bad. It started getting better over the early part of this weekend. Today was much less noticeable, but still you could kind of feel it in your throat. My eyes would water a little bit. I'd sneeze a little bit. So the red tide is still definitely around, but Josh is going to show us the forecast here. According to the USF FWC forecast collaboration, where there is no red tide in the forecast. But if you hop over to the FWC's testing site, there's still some red, yellow, and orange concentrations along the shore. And today, Captain Joe was running our 5-hour half day, and about 6 miles to our west, he ran into a concentration of red tide that literally made the water red, and there was hundreds of dead fish floating. So a lot of issues still out there offshore, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll get that sorted out. Hopefully the red tide will go away and stay away, but right now it's very spotty and it's kind of up and down. We're in the period right now where it's beautiful and the red tide is dissipating, but who knows? So as far as our live bait situation over the weekend, we did not have live bait. We're hoping to bring live bait back starting Tuesday will be our first chance at it, but we're going to have that conversation tomorrow. Our bait guy, Brian, is going to keep looking and trying. So we're going to keep trying, but definitely frustrating. So let's see here. Do you guys catch any snowy grouper at any of the long-range trips? No, snowy grouper live predominantly beyond 400, 500 foot of water. We used to catch them on our 63-hour deep drops, but on our 39 and 44-hour trips, we don't fish beyond about 300 foot of water. So snowy grouper would not be something we target on our typical public trips. We are flirting with some ideas that would get us back out there to that deep water, but there's plenty of deep water options around our area, like Chris Taylor with Aubrey's Fishing Charters. There's Tommy Butler does deep drop trips. Our friend Joe Masano does it. There's Billion. Steve Pappin is probably one of the most well-known and longest-running. He's part of the Loggerhead fishing team, which shout out to Captain Steve Pappin. They just took home their second first-place Kingfish Trophy of the year. They won the Spring King of the Beach, and then they just won the Wild West tournament that just occurred down south of us. So killing it. Captain Steve Pappin and what's that? Fantastic Fishing Charters is the name of his company. He does a great job. But he's one of those guys that won't even come on the show because he's so booked out. His red snapper season is booked up for 2022 and 2023. So you want to book Steve, he's 3 years out. Pretty crazy. But that's how long he's been in business. He's a six-pack operator, only does six-pack trips. And he's built a clientele base that allows him to book super far in advance and not really advertise because he's got return word-of-mouth business. If we only took one boat out a day with 6 customers, you would see what would happen there. We wouldn't have so many people watching a live show. What's our next question, Josh? Have the trout, snook, and redfish recovered enough for it not to be closed? So that's a good question, Gerald. That is not my decision. And it is not my circus or my monkeys. The closure of redfish, snook, trout due to red tide is extremely controversial among inshore guides and recreational fishermen. And it's not something that we target or involve ourselves in. So, but the next time they talk about that, the FWC will discuss it early October. I believe their commission meeting is around the 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's a stab in the dark there, Gerald, but you can Google FWC commission meetings 2021. It'll bring up the dates. That's the next time that they're going to be talking about that closure, and we'll see whether or not they continue the closure or end the closure. All right, next question. Do we have another question, Josh?
How's the amberjack bite going to be in October?
So amberjack fishing in October, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, prior to this amberjack season reopening in August, I was kind of telling people that we have not been seeing amberjack. The amberjack bite's been slow. We're not expecting a lot of amberjack. And then amberjack season opened, and we caught them like crazy. We did really well on amberjack through the month of August and even into the month of September. Typically, they bite best when water is cooler. So maybe at the end of October, we'll see another push. Maybe we'll get on them and catch them again come the end of September. But who knows? The amberjack fishing is very hit and miss. There's not a lot of them out there. I know our friends up in the Northern Gulf, Pensacola, Destin, Louisiana, my charter captain friends up there are dying on jacks. They're just not seeing them. So we're getting the amberjack that are around in the Gulf off our coast right now. But recently, this past trip, we couldn't find them. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe they'll come back in another wave, but definitely tricky. Tricky to say with any certainty. Larry Christensen asked about our Salt Strong courses. So we do have that Mangrove Snapper Mastery course, the Red Snapper Mastery course, and a Grouper Mastery course with Salt Strong. If you go to saltstrong.com/Hubbards, /Hubbard. So that's going to bring you to our maybe /Hubbard without an S. Maybe it's Hubbard. Yep. Saltstrong.com /Hubbard without the S. That's going to bring you to the Captain Dylan Hubbard Saltstrong Special, and that's going to give you all 3 courses plus a year-long membership to Saltstrong. So it's kind of a buy one, get 4 free deal, and it's basically a way for our Hubbard's Marina friends to get a chance to kind of get introduced to Saltstrong. And trust me, once you try it, you won't want to stop. They are awesome people. I think the best part, they have tons of content on Saltstrong with like videos, spot dissections. Every Thursday afternoon, they do a weekend game plan live video that basically here's what you need to look for on the weekend in your area, what you want to target, what bait you want to use, all that good stuff, which is incredible. They do spot dissections by viewer request. They have a ton of different mastery courses available, but my favorite part about it is the Smart Fishing Tides tool, which gives you basically the next 2 weeks, and it tells you what day is best to go fishing and then what time of that day is the best time to catch fish. I check that all the time and use it pretty heavily inshore when I'm fishing around the docks. And then it works really well. Also, the community feature of Saltstrong, you have the option to go to the community, which is basically like Facebook. You can share photos and reports, but you don't see the bashing, you don't see the negativity. They tell you where they caught it, what bait they used, what the water clarity was doing, what the tide was doing. They share it all the information. There's no well, that was a stupid question. There's no trolling. It's a super positive community, unlike anything I've ever seen. So really cool part about Saltstrong, in my opinion. Probably the best part. So, we got time for a few more questions here, Josh, before we give away our last free trip of the night and move into our supporters after show. Don't forget, if you're a Hubbard's Marina supporter, you get that private after show access. And if you're a supporter and you haven't been in the supporters group, I found a bunch of gems. Photos from 2010, 2011, and 2012. Literally 10-year-old photos. And you will not want to miss the 10-year-old Captain Frank. He's got beautiful eyes.
Was that his Jack Sparrow phase?
It was beads? Prior to the beard beads.
Prior.
Yeah, it was before Captain Frank was totally Captain Frank. But yeah, you got to check out the old photos. They're pretty cool. You see Captain Joe. He looks like he's like maybe 14 years old. And then even myself, I don't know if I posted my embarrassing photo on there. I probably should. But myself, the photo I found of myself, I looked like I was 10. It was crazy. So really, really cool photos on there in the supporters page. So if you're a supporter, make sure you check that out. Josh, let's get into our last questions here before we wrap the show up and give away our last free trip of the night.
Pretty much, all of them.
Did we answer all our questions already?
Yeah.
Wow. And John never called in. Hopefully everything's okay. Now, before we do end up, if we don't have any questions to get to. Oh, the weather. I didn't talk about the weather because there's nothing to talk about. It's gorgeous. It's hot. And fishing is hot, and the weather is beautiful. Robert Holshauser ending the show with a bang. Thank you, buddy, for those 1,000 stars. Appreciate you, man. But I didn't talk about the weather because there is no weather to talk about. It's gorgeous. Next 7 days is spectacular weather-wise. So it's hot. Fishing's hot. It's a great time to get out there and enjoy lighter loads. Now, this weekend is a holiday weekend. I had a woman call today who was upset. She went out to Egmont Key on a Sunday on a holiday weekend and was upset about the number of people in boats at the island. Probably should have avoided a holiday weekend, but it is what it is. The customer is always right, and we dealt with that situation accordingly, but it is what it is. So holiday weekend, want to avoid that, but behind the holiday weekend, it grinds to a halt quickly. So later this week, second half of this week, it should be back to super light loads, 20, 30, 35 people on half days. The hub 10-hour all days only take 14. Flying Hub 2 looks like it has 10, 12 people on it. So light loads, 12-hour night snapper. The last one with Captain Garrett cruised with 30, 32 anglers. So light loads all the way around. So make sure you take advantage of it. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is SOM. So we have the pleasure of being a long-term family business. Multi-generational. We've been fishing local waters since 1928. So we have a lot of guests that fish with us. They get older, they have kids, they bring their kids fishing with us, then they get older and their kids have kids, and we've had as many as 4 generations of family out fishing with us at one time. I'll never forget that. That was pretty cool. But along with that comes watching kids grow up and watching our mentors, people we look up to, super fishy, experienced dudes age and get experienced to the point where they ultimately are no longer with us. And we've had a lot of our more experienced Regulars Club guests kind of age into that category. Some of the most notable to me personally were guys like Fred, Santa Claus, Carl Kisner, Ian Keith. I mean, a lot of these guys that I saw growing up, and I remember growing up on a party boat looking up to these guys like, man, he catches a lot of fish. I want to be like him one day. And then grow up to get where I am today, to see those guys, those type of gentlemen pass away. It's just so super, super sad. So all this to say, our good friend Jighead Ed has not passed away. So I kind of set that up wrong. Jighead Ed has not passed away, but he's not doing well. He is currently in hospice care at home. So everybody say a prayer for Jighead Ed, our good buddy from South Florida there. He is the master fisherman. The few conversations I've had with him have always engrossed me in fishing tips, tricks, and just it's always been a huge blessing to get a few minutes to talk with him. Some of the recent boat records were all set by Jighead Ed. He's a salty, experienced, little crusty guy, but he has a heart of gold. And once you break down that wall, he shirt off his back type of individual. And it's incredibly, incredibly sad to see him go through this situation. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers, y'all. And hopefully he will be able to pull through, and we'll be able to get him back out there trolling and getting out there. So yeah, a lot of our Regulars Club members have grown up fishing with us for years and years and years, and then ultimately go to fishing in heaven. So hopefully Jighead Ed will pull this through, and we'll still have some more trips with him. And if I get the pleasure of seeing him again, I'm going to be picking your brain, Jighead Ed. We're going to be doing films. We're going to put a GoPro on either side of him, interviewing him. We're going to get our money's worth.
He doesn't like the camera.
He doesn't like the camera. He doesn't like talking to people. But you catch him in the right mood, man, he will just unload on you.
I remember when I first started working
He doesn't like new people.
With you guys, I was like, man, who's that old salty man of the sea over there? Just in the corner, just long dog hanging out his mouth.
Like if you read The Old Man.
Pulling up fish.
Yeah, if you read The Old Man in the Sea, that is Jighead Ed.
Is it?
He would take a rowboat into the middle of the Atlantic and catch a 600-pound marlin and fight sharks off with a paddle. That's him.
Just to get it on the deck.
That is him, without a doubt. Yeah, he's a master fisherman for sure. So super sad. With that, how do you follow that up? Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Sorry about the internet issues. I don't know what's going on there. We haven't done anything differently, not running extra programs. One good piece of information is we've paid to bring fiber internet into our studio here, so the fiber internet will cure all of our internet issues. Not sure what Josh did to screw this up, but I mean, last week I did the show alone. There wasn't a problem, so
I think it might be me.
I kind of hinted
might
at
need
that.
Sunday
I
nights
hinted
off.
at it hard. Hopefully he picked it up.
Yeah.
Now, with
I'll
that,
be remote next week, guys.
so with that, guys, don't forget to tune in every Sunday night right here on our Hubbard's Marina Facebook, Instagram, YouTube channel. Don't forget to check us out on TikTok, Snapchat, Pinterest, Twitter. Simply search Hubbard's Marina. Hopefully we'll see you at the dock this week. Gorgeous weather, great fishing. Check us out Friday mornings on Fox Channel 13 News at 8:15 a.m. And then don't forget about that Real Animals show every Saturday at 6:30 or 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then September 21st, Tuesday night, September 21st, 6 p.m. at Furman, Newport Richey. We're going to be giving away free barbecue. That's why I'm going. And talking all about fishing. So definitely a good time from 6 to 8:30. Maybe it's 6 to 8. I have 2 times written down. It's either 6:30 to 8 or 6 to 8:30. I don't know. It starts at 6 or 6:30. Show up at 6 to be safe. I'll see you there. I'll be the idiot in the parking lot. See.
Hey, I mean,
with
but
that,
you're not bad, you know. If you show up early, that's just more barbecue.
Oh, I always like
You
showing
know?
up early.
That's
My
just more
dad,
barbecue for
my
you.
entire life, we were always late for everything. My dad, you'd call him, be like, at school, it's an hour after you're supposed to be picked up. Hey, Dad, where you at? Oh, yeah, I'm pulling in now. He hasn't left the marina yet. He's still in his chair at his office desk.
He just hit the mile marker
Yeah.
off the bridge.
I'll never forget, I was in the truck with him. We hadn't pulled out of the marina yet. My mom calls. He's like, oh, yeah, honey, I'm pulling in the driveway. No, you're not. You haven't pulled out of the marina yet. So that's something I grew up with. I love my dad. He's a great guy, but his time management is not the best. But
That's
now
why
I'm
you're
experiencing that. The older I get, the more things that I got going on, the more I find myself becoming more and more like my dad. One of the biggest things that gets me is when we were driving somewhere, like say we were going from the marina and we were going to go to Home Depot and then go home. He would just pull out of the marina and we'd be talking about something, or he'd take a phone call and he would just totally pass turns. Like grew up here for 60 some odd years and act like he didn't know where he was going because he called it, I'm in autopilot. I'm driving in autopilot. I'm like, now I do it all the time. All the time.
Just wait till we start
I'm on the
getting
phone
calls.
or I'm talking to someone or I'm thinking about something and I'll pass my turn. I'm like, really? So yeah,
As
you
long as
become like your parents. And that one commercial, what's it, State Farm, about how not to become like your parents
Yeah.
when you buy your first house. That really resonates with me. Really hits home in a dark place.
As long as you do the speed limit in the fast lane, you're okay.
No.
Don't do 50.
No,
In the-
I will not
in
drive
the-
like my father. Ever. I will
We
never,
get
ever.
phone calls.
Never have I ever driven like my father.
That's just because you guys have a big truck that says Hubbard's Marina.
Yeah, but I don't get
That's who
phone
that was
calls
at.
to the
No.
marina being like, why are you in the left lane going 20 miles an hour under the speed limit? That's
That's
not
hard
me.
when
That's
you're
my
always
father.
at the marina, though, Dylan.
That's true. I don't drive as much as he does, but whatever. So with that, I love you, Dad. Let's see who won our 10-hour all day for 2 people, 10-hour all day for 2 guests coming at you now. Then we're going to start up our supporters after show. Supporters after show will start at 9:45. So 9:45. If you're a supporter, be in the supporters after show group. Go to the supporters group. You'll see the after show pop up in the group's timeline. Refresh your computer, 9:45 p.m. sharp. Let's see who won our 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests.
Question about this.
Adaptive cruise control is the worst invention ever. Sean Porchke, 2 Regulars Club members in one night. Look at that. Congratulations, Sean Porchke, 10-hour all day for 2 guests. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Same time, same bad channel. Tight lines, y'all. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Have a good night, y'all. If you're